my daughter came to my room and she said, Mom, get up. They said, shit, baby. And I said, she at work. So me thinking, there's no guns. Nobody's walking around with guns in the prison. Mm-hmm. So I was like, there is no way. She said, no, Mom, it's serious. Get up. We stood there. They never took my child to the hospital. They took the inmate to the hospital. They should be following policy. I don't wish this on no mother. Yeah. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. They don't see that. All they see is, oh, well, is it a lawsuit? Is it this? You think I want money? I want my child. Anything that comes from that is blood money. I want my baby. Yeah. When my mama died, my daddy died, and when my grandma died, I thought that was the end of the world for me. But losing my child has really broke my heart. And I know that I would never be the same. And it's like a constant battle because it's like we're being blamed for her being murdered.
Welcome to another episode of Char's Visionary Path podcast. I am your host, Charlene, aka Char. Today, episode 2, I have my beautiful friend that has gone through a tragedy. A year ago, on June the 16th, my friend Deshonda, she lost her beautiful, beautiful daughter, her oldest daughter, her first daughter, Arion Grace. She lost her to a violent tragedy. She lost her. And so today, I just want to tell you thank you for joining me. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you because I do believe that this is really gonna help a mother that is now beginning the grief process. So again, thank you for joining me. And today we're gonna bring life to your daughter.
You're welcome.
All right. So what I want to do first, Sean. First, I just want to say that you and I met through a mutual friend, of course. And I was thinking about that this morning, that I never in a million years thought that our relationship would be what it is, because I really hold it to my heart. I have a lot of respect for you. But for you to even be sitting on my couch today and I'm bringing life to your baby girl's story. And I thought it was so important for me to do that because of the turn of events that happened with that a year ago. And of course, the narrative that people were putting out there about her, because I think that people begin to lose sight on you just lost your daughter. So I thought it was very important for you to have a voice today. And we're only going to be talking about her and particular things, because not only was she your daughter, she also was a mother. So I want to bring life to your daughter today. Okay. And so the first thing I want you to do is, if you can just take us back to who Arion was as a child. I remember you telling me about when you were going through some dark days within your life after you had her, that she really, really stepped in and she took care of you. She took care of her siblings. And for years, I wasn't around any of my family, nobody. Mm-hmm. And we were in Virginia, we were in Alabama, and it was just me and her. Mm-hmm. And it's been times where I was sick to the point where I was in the bed sick, and no one ever knew. She ran the whole house. Yeah. Everybody went to school. Everybody was fed. She made sure I took my medicine. My daughter was a good-hearted person. She was your protector.
Yes.
She was your protector. That's what I get out of that. Yes. She was your protector. She kept anyone from knowing what you were going through.
No,
she protected
I hadn't told at this point what happened, nobody would have ever known. Yeah. Period. She didn't call nobody. She didn't ask for help. Mm-hmm. It was just done. She was your protector. Yeah. That was she was your first daughter too. Yes, she my oldest baby.
Yeah, she was your oldest baby. What are some of your favorite memories of her growing up? Something that just kind of makes you laugh.
How I'll tell her no about something. She'll go to her granddaddy or she'll go to her grandma and they'll give it to her. And one of the things I always think about is every time she would drink chocolate milk or yoo-hoo, she would just make a mess on herself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you're not getting no milk, but she always go behind my back and ask them. And next thing you know, it was just mess everywhere. And I just remember one day she came in there. She was in such a mess. I just got her dressed so pretty, and she used the bathroom all the time. I just sat on the floor and cried. My grandma's like, "You look like a fool. You crying and the baby crying." I just be thinking about that all the time. How she would just do that to me, but.
So that's one of your memories that really make you laugh. It doesn't make you cry about it. It makes you laugh. One of our. Can you think of any other memories?
It's just so many.
It's so many of
them. Like before she passed, it was always when she got older, she always be like, "Sean Higgins, if you wanted me to come over here, just say that," because I'll call and just pick an argument with her just because. Yeah. Because really, I just wanted to talk to her. I know she didn't get off from work until 10, so she wouldn't come out the building at 10. But I'll start calling at 10 to make sure I'm the first person she called.
Oh my goodness!
I had it every day.
You had it planned out.
I say I'm gonna start calling at 10. I'm gonna be the first person she talked to when she get off of work. And she goes, "You know, I don't get off to 10. Why you call?" I said, "Cause I was gonna make sure you called me first." Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. But so, what was her personality like? And when you describe what her personality was, why was it that way?
Her personality was that she was the type of person, and her friends say this all the time, that she was going to tell you the truth. Whether you like it or not, you're going to hear the truth. And she'll say, "Oh, they'll get over it." But if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right.
That's
and
right.
she was going to set you straight. Like, that's it. Yeah. Well, you was wrong for that, and I don't care about you getting mad. You'll get over it. I'll talk to you later.
She was very straightforward.
She was straightforward, but she get that from me. And if she couldn't help you, she wasn't gonna hurt you. Yeah. She was. Well, all of my children like that. If they'll help to the point of where it's hurting themselves. Yeah. They'll do for people to the point where it's hurting themselves. Like, she'll give you the shirt off her back.
She must was a Sagittarius.
Virgo.
Okay. Yeah. That's how I am too.
And so before she would hurt, she'll help you. And it was like, and then I see and I think a lot of these girls around here, they're correction officers now because of listening to her. Oh, she went and became a correction officer. So she was like, if you want benefits and make good money, go to be a correction officer. Yeah, it'd be hard sometimes. It's 12-hour shifts, but she'll say, handle your priorities. So she get that from me, handle your priorities. You'll be able to pay your bills by yourself. You'll be able to pay your own bills. And she always used to tell them that. And they talk about that all the time, how she say, handle your priorities.
She left an impact on them.
Yeah, get you a job with benefits so you have health insurance so you'll be able to take care of yourself and you can pay your own bills. And that's what she would tell her friends, and they always laugh about it. That's what she would say, handle your priorities first.
And that's amazing to me because a lot of young people, they don't think like that. They don't. So that speaks volumes about who you were as her mother, who you are as her mother and what she was taught to handle her priorities, because young people, they don't believe in that. They just, everything is just.
Now, she believed in handle your priorities, pay your bills, take care of your kids. She always wanted to plan stuff for the kids, trips, parties, vacations. Like, she always did that stuff. So that's why I make it a point that their life, as if she was still here doing it, I try to make sure everything is in place like she would have done it. Because I know she would have done it for me. She has done it for me with my kids.
Yeah. And when you think about her, what made her laugh and what made her uniquely her?
Everything made her laugh. She was just silly, but she always, the thing that was so funny about her, when she'll start laughing to the point where she's crying.
Oh, that's me.
She'll laugh until she's crying. And she always would be like, "Well, Mom, don't tell them I told you, but they did this. This one did that. Don't tell them. Just act like you found out." So I'll play along for a little bit, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I went and I looked and all along." They be like, "Nobody didn't tell you that, but Shabbat."
So you and her were really close. Yes, y'all were very, very close. Yeah, y'all looked out for each other, even when it's wrong. Y'all looked out for one another, even when it was wrong. I see that right now, and that's how I think me and my children are. We're like that, but I can relate to that.
And it's just like when she had her first baby and people would say stuff about her being a young mother. I was a young mother, and I would tell her, it's okay. And she got to the point where she would say, if my mama don't say nothing about what I'm doing or how I'm doing something, then what anybody else say don't matter.
Yeah.
Because I always would sit them down and say, our family business is our family business.
I remember
and the first
you told
thing,
me that.
First things first. Now that they said you can't do it or you won't do it or you gonna fail at, you got a point to prove.
Yeah.
Now you prove that point. That's what you do. And that's what all of us always say. Even they'll say, now mama, we got a point to prove. You got a point to prove.
That's
now
right.
prove it.
That's exactly right. How old was she when she had her? Because I was getting ready to go to that. How old was she?
She was 22.
That's her first child? No. When she had her first child.
Her first child, she was 22.
Well, she wasn't young.
Well,
I was 19.
I was 19.
I was 19.
But people had so much to
Lord.
say. Then when she turned around and got pregnant again, they had so much to say. But really, nobody could say anything because she took care of her kids.
I had
She
3
was a
children
mother
by
to
the
her
age of
kids.
23.
Me too.
3. That's so shit.
Yeah.
What did Arion love most about being a mother?
Just being a mother, she loved her kids. Her pride, her first priority, that was her pride and joy. Her children, and that's why even a lot of people don't know. Arion, they said that she wasn't gonna walk because she had a large cell tumor, so it ate from right above her knee all the way up her femur. So her leg is plates and screws, but people didn't know that. Because that was our family business.
Right.
And they were saying, "Oh, you're not gonna walk. If you do, it's gonna take a long time." But she used to be so mad at me. I would work with her 3 times out the day. In the morning, I'll help her in the afternoon, help her at night. So when she did go to physical therapy, it was like, "Well, how you getting around like this?" She was like, "My mama, my mama." Because I kept telling her, I was like, "They're not God.
Yes,
they're
right.
not God. You got kids to take care of. They're not God.
Yeah.
So they can't tell you you're not gonna walk. You're too young for that. Get up. She'll be so mad, crying. You'll be strong. Come on, let's
didn't
go.
let her give up.
And it was a point that she wanted to. She was like, "Well, why is this happening to me?" And I sit and a lot of times I sit and they took my next to the oldest daughter to tell me. She said, "Mama, look at all what Shavay had been through." Because I'm sorry.
You got it. That's okay. You take your time. You take your time.
Because it went from her getting in a wreck, then the large cell tumor, then she got in another bad wreck. Rather, she learned how to walk again. She got in another bad wreck. And then for a while, before she passed, her legs had started back giving her problems. They had already cut everything out. It really wasn't, it's nothing else that they could have cut on that leg. She was falling and everything, but she was still going to work.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to take care of her children. And my daughter said, "Mom, look at everything she had went through." And then it was getting to the point where she was having trouble walking and falling and stuff with our family business.
Yeah.
It's our family business. And she said she was tired.
Yeah.
Maybe God saw, her body had been through so much and she was tired. But for the life of me, I just don't understand.
Yeah. And I want you to just breathe for a minute because,
I'm sorry.
I don't think that, I just don't believe that even with all of that, with all of the health issues she may have had, there was no act of God that happened. I just don't believe that was enemy. And if I could just be real about it.
Yeah.
Now, did God allow it to happen? That may be a question.
Yeah.
But other than that was completely an enemy.
Yeah.
And we get ready to talk about that. But before I get to that, I just wanted to ask you, is there a moment that you can remember with her and her children that will always stay with you? I know you said she was such a good mother, but are there any moments that you can count on?
When she would yell all day long, "I'm going to spank y'all."
And never do it. Never do it.
"I'm going to make you fly." That's what she used to say. "Keep on. I'm going to make you fly. I'm going to make you fly." Nothing. Just her fussing and yelling and telling her, "I'm going to make you fly. I'm going to make you fly." And
nothing happened. So
nothing.
you remember, that's what you should tell them now when they get on your...
I do. I said,
I'm going to make you fly.
And everybody say, "And you're going to do the same thing she did." Nothing.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. So we're just gonna touch a little bit on this only if you're comfortable.
That's fine.
Only if you're comfortable. The day that she passed, which was June the 16th, 2024, the day that she passed, or I'm just gonna call it like it was, the day that she had her life taken from her. Can you explain can you talk about how you received that call?
We never received a call from Smith Prison, from GDC, or anyone. It was actually inmates. Both of my daughters are correction officers. And inmates went through social media and found my younger daughter, who was they called one of them Big Grace and one Little Grace, and called on Messenger and reached out and said, Big Grace has been shot. So my daughter came to my room and she said, Mom, get up. They said she been shot. I said, she at work. So me thinking, there's no guns. Nobody's walking around with guns in the prison. So I was like, there's no way. She said, no, Mom, it's serious. Get up. She been shot. So I got up and I just kept saying, no, 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 no. And that's all I remember, walking around in my room, like finding stuff to put on, just saying, no, 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 no. And then I heard my daughter's phone ring again. And she just started screaming. But she never told me until she just said, Mama, come on, let's go, let's go. So we ended up going. When we got there, still nobody told us nothing. We stood out there for a long time, and they just kept telling us we had to get back. We had to get back. So in my mind, it was an ambulance there. So in my mind, okay, if she is hurt, that's her in the ambulance, passing us, going. So they're going to tell me, my child on her way to the hospital. We stood there. They never took my child to the hospital. They took the inmate to the hospital. So finally, it had been like almost 2 hours. They came out and said, are you Grace's mother? And I said, Miss Grace's mother? I said, yes. And they said, Miss Grace is deceased. And the last thing I remember, I fell to the ground.
Let's take your time.
I fell to the ground, and they told us we could wait there while they investigate the situation, and they'll come back and tell us something. So we waited around, and finally they moved us to this building behind the prison, and we sat in there for hours. But it was never a point where the warden or anybody came out and said, I'm sorry for your loss, or anything like that. They just came out they went in cover-up mode. Yeah. That's what they did, trying to paint a scenario. But my whole thing with this situation is, if policy had been followed and they had been conducting searches, doing rounds, and everything like they were supposed to do at Smith State Prison, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I totally agree.
This wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's why when they came to me, I was like, well, sir, why was he not searched coming out the dorm? Why was he not searched to go in the kitchen? Was he even on that work detail? Yeah. Y'all giving me this flat out telling me my child dead and trying to paint this scenario to me. Where was the guards? Where was the officers? Yeah. Where was the cameras? Why was she wasn't even a correction officer anymore. She was a kitchen worker. She worked for Airmark. She wasn't an officer anymore. Why was she in there at a level 5 prison by herself with 17 inmates?
Yeah, and those are still a lot of questions that are going on. So it's still
nobody in this, and that's why I haven't spoke until this point, because nobody's looking at the fact of she was working at a level 5 prison. There was no officer in there with her. No one, no policies, no procedures was being followed at that prison. No one's looking at the fact that an inmate had a gun. Officers don't even have guns. Yeah. They're in the armory. Yeah. But no one's looking at that. The cover up that they came out with is what everybody's taking and ran with it, instead of looking at the fact of other people have children in there. That's there for stuff that's not that serious.
Yeah.
Some people wrongly incarcerated.
Yeah.
So the fact of it's okay for them to have guns, knives, whatever, and people there that just want to come home. People there that could possibly be innocent.
Yeah.
It's other people that work there.
Yeah.
They should be following policy. I don't wish this on no mother.
Yeah.
I don't wish this on my worst enemy, because I thought, when my mama died, my daddy died, and when my grandma died, I thought that was the end of the world for me. But losing my child has really broke my heart. And I know that I would never be the same. And it's like a constant battle, because it's like we're being blamed for her being murdered.
Yeah.
And Lord knows I've been treated bad by so many people. But I'm trying to handle business for her. And how they talk to me and treat me like I'm the scum of the earth, it's ridiculous. Because it costs nothing to be nice. It costs nothing to be respectful. It costs nothing. And at the end of the day, I didn't really get the mourn, because chin up, chest out.
Yeah.
I got other kids looking at me. I got her kids looking at me. It's not even so much of going in grandma mode. It's going into mama mode.
Mama mode.
Because she had babies.
Yeah.
They're
she had 2 babies.
And it's like, nobody see that. No, they don't see that.
And
all they see is, is it a lawsuit? Is it this? You think I want money? I want my child. Anything that comes from that is blood money. I want my baby.
Yeah.
I wish that they had been doing their job. They had searched the inmates, did what they were supposed to do. She should have had a guard in there with her.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's where people are losing. They're losing the fact that you lost a baby and that your grandchildren have lost a
their
mother.
mother.
And that's why I thought it was so important to talk about this today, and because I'm not going to go into the case, because I know it's an open case, and I don't want you to do anything that's going to hurt that case, because I told you from the beginning, your daughter's lost the life that she's lost. It will not go in vain.
Because I don't wish this on no mother. No mother.
How are the children handling it?
Her son, they have their days. It was times where when she would come to pick them up, she would pull up in front of our front door because of her legs. So she'll pull up in the light. So her son, whenever somebody will pull up at the door, he run to the door because he's thinking it's his mama. That's, to other people, that's just something simple. But to us, to see that, to know.
Because you know why he's doing it.
She's not going to walk through that door, and then when it's not her, we got to pet him because that's not his mama.
Yeah.
Or we walk in the room, he looking in the corner, mama, just staring in space. Mama.
Yeah.
Or her daughter up at night, get up out the bed in the middle of the night and go in there where her pictures are and just sitting in the chair 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. And I got to get up. I'm hurt too. Yeah. And to see my grandchild crying for my child, and I can't do nothing about it. That's
the thing about it. You have to go into protective modes for them and mama mode for them. You don't have the proper time to grieve. That's the way I feel. Yeah. Because you got to put your grief, you got to put your hurt on the back, and you got to see about those babies. And people don't understand that when they're creating and they're saying all of these things, because those babies, they're going to be told one day that when they really begin to understand that mama lost her life to the hands of someone else. Yes. Your mom is not coming back. The little baby, the oldest little girl, she has an idea, but the baby, he's still a little baby. So he's got to navigate through this and the loss of his mom,
And then a lot of times, and just like I told you before I came over here, if we post anything about her or say stuff about her, it is some people who go up under the post, she dead, and run with the scenario that was painted of my daughter. She dead, well, that's all. And stuff like that. And I didn't want to bring that light to your podcast. That's why I told you before you brought me on here. And a lot of times that's why I don't speak and I haven't spoke, because I didn't want people to take stuff out of context or feel like we looking for sympathy. No, I've never looked for sympathy. I don't think I say I don't want to talk to nobody and just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone. Leave her siblings alone, because that took a lot out of her siblings too.
Yeah,
They're hurt.
I know that when all of this happened, you and I talked a lot, and I remember you telling me, because I told you I felt like y'all needed grief counseling, not just counseling. Because there was such a huge difference between counseling and grief counseling. And I felt like that because of the things, and I don't want to talk about the things that we talked about, but when it came to them and them dealing with her. Dealing with the loss of their sister. You know, that's a lot.
And she was like a second mother to them. And to them, all of us say the same thing. She was the sweet.
Yeah.
We call her the sweet girl.
Yeah.
She was the sweet one. So it's like, to them, it's like they have survivor's remorse.
Yeah.
So they feel like, well, it should have been me
It should
because
have been
I
me.
did this.
Yeah.
It should have been me because I did this. Or, as a mother, to hear your child say, they should have been the one to die instead of the other one.
Yeah.
And in my heart, I feel, they say don't question God, but that's not God. I raised them.
Mm-hmm.
They can take care of themselves, and they know to take care of each other. So why would you take my baby? And she could have raised her kids. You could have took me. Yeah. I lived my life. Yeah. And when I'm telling them don't feel that way. When really in my heart, I feel like you could have took me.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I wanted to give you that's another reason. I mean, it's just so many reasons why I wanted to give you a space. I don't care about what people are going to come up. That doesn't matter to me. What mattered to me was you and your baby and getting who she is, who she was out there. That was the most important. Your heart mattered to me, not what people think, because people are going to think what they want to think anyway. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is giving you a safe space to know that you can come and you can talk safely and not be judged, because I think you and I have gotten to know each other more than enough when it comes to that, and you know what type of person I am. I would never ever do that. And I know that we talked about like your times that you have those hard times. Have you ever had those moments that you just felt like you wanted to give up?
I did.
And what made you, even when you have those times, what makes you keep going?
What makes me keep going is the fact of, I know if it was me and she was left there with her siblings, she was going to do what she had to do. She was going to take care of them to the point of where it was like it was me. Yeah. So the only thing that made me get up and bring me back to reality is her babies. Yeah. And my babies. But I know she would have did anything to take care of them. Yeah. So that's what made me just chin up, going. Chest out, get up.
Yeah, just keep going every day. One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. My cousin, I know you and I had spoke very briefly about that, but she lost her son in a tragic 18-wheeler a car accident. And so she and I talked about it, and me and you talked about it, like every day. People say that these things, they get better, but like she said, it doesn't get better.
It never get better.
Because it's your child. I can't even imagine that.
Because in your mind, realistically, we know they're not there anymore. Right. So they don't feel. But in our heart, God, they in that grave, in that box, in that cold by themselves. Yeah. That's still your child. And realistically, they not there. But as a mother, you thinking, my child in that dirt by herself. Yeah. And there's nothing I could do about it. Or you go back in your head and you play over in your head, maybe I could have saw it. Did I miss something? Or
you start blaming yourself.
Oh, what did I do wrong? Or did I miss it? What did I miss? Did they say something and I didn't hear it, before it happened? And you'll pick yourself apart. But it's really nothing you could have done. But as a mother,
you always feel like it's something that you could have done, man. Because that's the way I felt when my daughter went to prison. When Brittany went to prison, it was like, what? It's
like when stuff happened to your kids. It's like you living through that too. It's happening to you because you like, God, you could have. That could have just.
What could I have done differently? And that's what I asked myself. Like, what could I have done differently? Is there anything that I remember I was talking to my brother one day and he said, Charlene, it's nothing you could have done different. And I'm telling you the same thing.
Yeah. And it's like I pick, and to this day, I sit and I play every scenario over in my head. It's nothing I could have done. It's no way I could have known. She didn't know.
Yeah.
So, but as a mother, and then when it's hot outside or it's raining, and dang, my baby in that ground, she there by herself in the dark. But we know, she not physically there, but as a mother,
in your mind, it's like you're still protecting her. Even though you know she's not there, you know that, but that's the protection part of it. Is my baby okay? Yeah. Is she warm? Is she? I just can imagine.
Did she suffer?
Yeah.
Did she? All these things play over and over in my head, and it's like, not God.
Yeah. So even with her life and even with her passing, I always say we all still have a vision. How has your vision changed for your future for you? Or has it changed in a positive manner, a negative manner? Has it changed?
I always say, it's like I started over as a mother. So I just want to, the vision I have for my kids, to raise my kids where they can take care of themselves, where they don't need nobody but God, and that they have some kind of career or education or whatever they decide to do. That's my vision for her kids. So my focus now is to raise her kids as if they were mine.
Yeah. So that vision hasn't changed. That vision hasn't changed. It just got larger.
Yeah.
That's all it did. It just got larger. So let me ask you, what do you want the world to know about your beautiful daughter, Arion, that they will never read in the newspaper?
I want them to know that my daughter, the first thing is, she was a mother. She was a sister. She was my daughter. She was a friend. So when you say stuff, it costs nothing to be nice, or it costs nothing. Just keep your mouth closed. Everybody has their own opinion, but one day her children got to read that.
Yeah.
Her children got to see that.
Yeah.
And don't nobody know the truth but her, him, and God.
Yeah.
So for people to take a scenario and run with it and just try to destroy her name, just hush.
Yeah. It doesn't cost anything
It
just
don't
to be
cost
quiet.
anything just to be quiet.
Especially when you weren't there. You have no idea.
And
it's still your
and it's my
daughter.
Child.
Still
Right,
your
wrong,
child.
or indifferent. That's my
your
baby.
child.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
And so people come and they say stuff to me about lawsuits. I want my child.
Yeah.
I want my child. There is nothing I want.
Her life meant more to you
than that. And from the beginning, even when you talk to me, no, maybe, yes, he's gone. But anybody who failed her in GDC, I want criminal charges pressed.
Yeah. Money has nothing to do with that.
I want criminal charges pressed on anybody who failed her.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, she called for help over that radio and no one came.
Yeah.
So, no, I want criminal charges pressed, because no matter how they look at it, no matter how they covered it up, she did not deserve to die, and they failed her.
Yeah. No, but she did not deserve to die, and she did not deserve to die the way she died.
No, she went to work.
Yeah, she went to work that day, expecting to come home to her children. And that day, she lost her life in a tragic way. We're just not going to talk about how it was because it's too graphic. But it was tragic. Yeah. And so if people could just understand that part of it. Money has nothing to do with this. No. Money cannot bring your daughter back.
And the fact of me even wanting charges pressed, because maybe that'll wake up other places and other prisons that nobody else has to go through what I've gone through or experience what I've experienced. That their child go to work, or their child, even if their child go to prison and never come home because proper protocols are not being followed.
Yeah.
I don't wish this on no mother, no matter if your child in prison, work at the prison, whatever. Proper protocols should be followed for everybody's protection.
Yeah. And I think that the loss of her life, because I remember I was working in Atlanta and it was on the news. It made national news. It made national news. So that alone says that her loss is not in vain, because now doors are being knocked down. Doors are being knocked down and things are coming to light, which I don't want to get into, but people are being held accountable for things.
Because I don't wish this on no mother. So maybe losing her will be able to protect another mother from going through what, or somebody else's children from having experience losing their mother, father, or whatever. Because
so I know that her 1 year anniversary is coming up June the 16th. How do you plan on honoring her?
I honestly, I didn't want to do anything. And my kids were like, no, Mom, you can't do that. But holidays are not the same in our household. Holidays are not the same. I get up, I cook, and I do the normal stuff that I do because of her children and my children. But you could feel the difference. In the house. So we're probably just gonna be around each other and cook and stuff like that. And then we're doing an event. It's called the Community Angels, for like the other mothers in the community that lost their children. So we're gonna do an event where on June 7th at Mill Creek Park, where you can bring your kids out. It's free food, drinks, bounce houses, and stuff for the kids, and games for the kids. And that we can, if they want to talk to us about our kids, they can. They want to talk to us about the experience that how the experience of losing a child, or how it happened, or even if we can just change somebody's mindset.
I think that's so good.
Change somebody's mindset on how they're thinking, that they don't have anybody they could go to, or nobody to help them, so they gotta do this, so they gotta do it. No, it's different when you get behind those bars. It's different when you lose a child. It's different when you're even if you go to prison or you're killed and taken away from your mother. Think about your mom's heart. Like that's gonna break your mama's heart, or your children's heart, or your family. So
I love that. I love that gives other mothers opportunities that's going through the same thing, just different forms, but it's the same thing that you all are coming together and doing that. And that's again on June the 7th, and that's going to be at Mill Creek Park. And that's a free event for everybody. Event. Okay. So one last thing before we go, what would you like to say to another mother who is beginning her grief process?
I would say just put one foot in front of the other, and you gotta pray. I was angry, Lord knows, and you gotta tell the truth. I was so angry at God, and you was the one who had to come talk to me. So everybody was telling me, pray, go to church, you need. And I would say, you can't tell me what I need to do, because on my way to work every morning, I would listen to Psalms 91 for a shield of protection around my children, and my child went to work and was murdered. So don't tell me to pray. But I know in my heart it's been God keeping me. Because when I didn't have the sense to pray or even speaking to God, I was able to get up and see about her kids. I was able to get up and see about my kids. So only thing I could tell anybody, people can give you all the advice in the world, but the best advice is just pray and just put one foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other. Well, I just want to thank you today, Sean. I want to thank you for your courage. I want to thank you so much for just bringing love and light to this space for your baby. Again, I just thought it was so very important for you to speak up. I think it helped you out a little bit too. It definitely brought some more light to me about who she was, because I didn't personally know her. But I do know that I'm a mother, and I cannot even imagine the unbearable pain that you go through on a daily basis. I feel like that's a daily thing.
It is.
I feel like grace comes from God to gift you from one part to the other of the day. And I'm proud of you though. I'm proud of you from a year ago. I'm proud of you because I know what that looked like when I was over your house. When I would go over there and we would pray together, or you would call me on the phone early in the morning texting me or whatever, I always wanted you to know I was there. And I'm going to continue to walk that walk with you because I feel like everybody needs that real person that they
and
know
I
they
just
can
want
be.
you to know, I just appreciate that because this situation has really opened my eyes to not everybody's sincere.
Yeah.
Not everybody's a good person. People would come around when it's time during the funeral time, but it slowly dwindles away. Dwindles away. It's very few that's still gonna be there. And then I realized that some people take advantage. Like they know you're going through, they know you more, and they be manipulative. They stick around to get what they can. So I just want you to know that I really appreciate you and love you for the fact that you always been sincere. And even when I'm at my worst, you still sit there and talk sense back. Into me, because you know I can get there. So I just want you to know I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate you coming and praying for me and praying for my kids. That I mean, that meant a lot to us.
I appreciate that. I really, and you know that it don't stop. It does not stop. I'm forever in your corner. Whatever I can do, you know I'm right there. If it ain't nothing but a prayer, honey, you know I'm gonna send one up. You already know that. So I just want to say to any mother that is listening to this episode today, and you're going through the exact same thing that my friend, my baby, my daughter, I'm gonna call her all of that. If you're going through that, this episode is for you because Sean finds strength every single day to move forward. And just remember, you are not alone. Also, just remember that your child matters. Their voice matters even when they don't have a voice anymore. Their memory matters, and to keep putting one foot in front of the other. So if you can relate to this episode, please make sure that you leave a review, you share, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And as always, keep walking until you get to your vision.